We love. We love. Mi gente, mi gente, mi gente. Soy yo, Jonia Lola. How have you been, mis amores? Oh my gosh, it's been a minute, right? I've been working, I've been getting my life together, child. However, I promised that I would do these videos, and so I'm here doing these videos for you guys because I want you to just have a different perspective, an additional perspective to the one that you currently have. We're going to jump right into it, and we're going to talk about why all of these diets are problematic, be it the vegan diet, the carnivore diet, the eat for your blood type, paleo, alkaline, keto, whatever, they're problematic. And let me just say, disclaimer to the side, honey. If your doctor is telling you to eat a certain way so that you can go get surgery, then you need to follow what your doctor telling you. And I'm not talking to you, and this video is not for you. This video is for people who are following diets based on what they see on YouTube, what somebody said to them, based on a philosophy, primarily the colonizing psychosis of the New Age movement, telling you to not eat this so you don't be low vibrational and all this weird stuff. Okay. So that's what this video is for. That's who this video is for. And really the goal of this video at the end of it is for you to have the tools and an added perspective on how to approach eating so that you can figure out what works for you. So let's get into why people even try these diets out to begin with, myself included, right? So number one, they try them out because they see benefit. Generally, most people are looking to lose weight. And just as a sidebar, because I don't think everybody knows, some people are really new here, so let me just give you my background and credentials. I've trained since 2015. I trained certified in functional patterns, human foundations level 1. Since 2015, 2020 is when I stopped because I was vegan and literally losing my life, and I had to get myself together and get healthy. So that's what made me stop. I wrote the book, Self-Care Regulations, a common sense approach to better health, so that I could provide my cumulative knowledge of that point of how people can get their body in the proper shape and health that they need and not be dependent on, you know, these dogmas and these doctrines and really the manipulation of society and the information that's out there. So that's my background. I do know what I'm talking about. I did 2 case studies with a total of 55 participants for detoxes. And so I've been on that scene too, child. And I done been there, did that. All the diets that you wanna talk about, I done did it. I've been there. So I have firsthand knowledge, and not only that, but I actually measured and monitored my clients with their nutrition as well as their biomechanics. So I was able to test their nutrition, which is a key part that most people do not think about. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but I just wanted to give that slight background so people can be like, how do you even know what you're talking about? That's how. All right. So let's talk about some of the benefits of these diets, or why people are drawn to these diets to begin with. People are drawn to these diets to begin with because they're looking to lose weight. That's number one. Most people are looking to lose weight. Number two, they want to be healthier, you know, and I can't blame them. You know, I couldn't blame myself. You see people dying around you, and next thing you know, all you're hearing is, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, it's because of that. Nobody really is trying to go out of here before they need to, you know? So I get it. And then number three is because you're following some type of philosophy, like I said in the beginning, and it could be some dogma, some doctrine, somebody's manipulative words that they've got to you, and they're playing off of your emotions and your trauma and your issues and purposing to get you to buy their products and their system so that you can do what they want you to do, period, right? And that's the majority of the reasons why people follow these diets. Nothing's working, or something is working, but not really the way they want it to. And so I get it. I totally understand. One of the things that I noticed, though, is, for instance, let's just take myself into example. After being vegan, you start to eat animal products again, and you start to feel the blood rush and the ambition and the drive come back to your body. And you're like, wow, like, you know, people talking about don't eat meat, but I wasn't feeling like this eating no mushrooms. Okay. And so you see firsthand the difference and the feeling. You feel the feeling of the animal products and what it does for you, especially in your training and your day to day, your mentality. And next thing you know, you're down the rabbit hole looking at how, just really looking up the importance of animal foods, because now you're a believer. You see the benefits of it. And before you know it, you know, you're sitting here talking about plants are toxic and meat is the holy grail. And you have literally swung from one extreme to the other. Or you're like some people and they're just trying whatever, because maybe for a week this diet works, but then it stops. And then maybe a week later that diet works, but then it stops. And before you know it, people really are purposing to find the way of eating that allows them to be healthy, maintain healthy weight, and produce energy for work as a human being, which is what our body is meant to do. And so I get it. I totally get it. However, none of those things really address the issue at hand, which is you don't know how to eat, and you don't know how to eat for your body. And instead of taking the steps to determine what's the best thing for you based on those 4 principles I spoke about in earlier videos, and I will cover today, you're just jumping from thing to thing. And the issue with that is, of course, you're going to test. Of course, you're going to be somewhat of a scientist and test different eating styles out. That's natural. However, it takes years sometimes for you to be able to determine whether something is working or not working, because your body is such a machine. It's so amazing that it will compensate for what you're lacking. And it takes, oftentimes, like it did for me on a vegan diet, it may take years for it to fully show up and for you to realize, like, I'm really messing myself up with this. This isn't sustainable, really, you know? Some people don't take that long, but for some it does. And so my thing is always, rather than jumping from this thing to that thing, listening to this person and that person, only you know what your body likes, what works well for your body. You are in this every single day, all day. You know if something making your stomach bubble. You know if something giving you heartburn. You know. It's not anyone else. It's not me. It's not anybody else online. And that's the reason why I deal with principles, and I really don't like to deal with the specifics of things, because it varies and it changes. And I truly feel like following principles and then observing your body and what works for you, and then on top of that, speaking with your healthcare professional, is the true way to get to know what works for you. All right. So I want to talk about 2 more things, and then I'm gonna wrap this video up. It's not meant to be long at all. The other thing is taking an adaptive approach to eating. So considering, how did we figure out what foods we should eat as human beings? Oh, I know, because when you eat it, your body will talk back to you. It will let you know what works and what doesn't work. When I was vegan and I was eating fruit first thing in the morning, which is really terrible, especially if you're a woman, because it doesn't allow for you to have a stable blood sugar level throughout the day, which is what you need in order to have your blood sugar must be stable so that your endocrine system can work properly, thus your hormones being properly regulated. It's a major factor in that. When I was vegan, I would have fruit in the morning, but then 30 minutes later, I'm starving. I'm ready to eat again. And really, when I was vegan, it was like, okay, I'm eating a big plate of vegetables and soaked and fermented this and that. But 30 minutes later, and even while I'm eating that big plate of food, I'm thinking about my next meal. Food is always on my mind. I'm constantly thinking about food all the time. And the reason why was because I was basically starving. Nothing was satiating me. I didn't have anything that was allowing me to take me. It was just a little 30-minute quick grab, and I'm eating all day. And that's really not good. Who can think and process and do work if you have to stop and eat all day, like we're animals or something? That's crazy. So taking an adaptive approach means that human beings are meant to adapt to our environment. It's one of our greatest skills, is being able to adapt. And considering that your microbiome, your gut flora, you want to have a diverse microbiome, making yourself only eat one thing and one food group literally does the opposite of what you want. which is you want diversity. But, you know, I see people, they're like carnivore or whatever, and they're like, oh, when I eat fruit, it hurts me and I get arthritis and my knees start itching. Like, what? You know, you want to be able to adapt, okay? And wherever you go, you want your body to be able to adapt to that environment. And that brings us to our 4 principles of eating, really. And this is really something that I just observed, and you don't have to take it as law. Just use it and adapt as you go. Use it as a blueprint. But the number one thing is eating what's around you. We live in the modern times, so we can easily import this and import that. However, I like to think of it like if you didn't have the modern availability to just go to the store and get what you want, how would you eat? You would eat what's around you, what's in the woods, what's in the rivers, the oceans, the lakes, what's in the sky. That's what you're eating. And you're eating what grows from the ground, period. That's what you're eating. Simple. What's around you. Number 2, you're eating what's in season, because based on the season, certain foods grow, certain animals migrate. And so that rotation of things keeps you, if you think about sunlight and the way that sunlight hits different, let's say, plant life, and allows for certain plant life to develop in certain ways, be that underground or on the surface, all of that is going to feed you based on the season that you're in, and it's going to be allow you to be more adapted to that season because you're eating the foods of that season. It's pretty simple stuff. This isn't anything deep. I'm not trying to go into no metaphysical stuff. This is just basic observation, common sense, which is really what we're missing, common sense. Okay, number 3 is going to be based on your genetics, because we know that based on what you eat and what your people have eaten over time, you will or may not develop or may need certain vitamins and minerals that may be different from the next person. Simple. That doesn't mean you have to eat exactly like your ancestors. Obviously, you may not be in the environment of your ancestors, and you may not have, things may change. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to eat exactly like your ancestors. However, you do want to take into consideration what did they eat, because that's going to help you be able to say, oh, maybe I do need more of these minerals and vitamins based on XYZ. Maybe. Just things to take into consideration. And the last one, number 4, is your current state of health. Now, sometimes there may be certain foods that are good and beneficial for you, but based on your current state of health, you just cannot eat it. All right. And that's okay. It's the same reason why people are like, oh, you should be able to eat this and that and that and that. But it's like, maybe your body is not there yet. Maybe you are still healing yourself, repairing yourself, and or maybe it's just not where you are for you to be able to eat that food. It happens. All right. Maybe it's stress, maybe whatever. Things happen. Maybe you got something taken out, organs missing, who knows? Okay. So you have to take those things. You don't have to. It's good to take those 4 things into consideration when we're talking about eating, because with those 4 principles, you can go anywhere and eat and thrive. And one of the main things that I changed in my thinking when it came to nutrition specifically is not what foods should I eat or what's best for me to eat. I changed and I asked the question, how do I engage with my environment so that I can sustain myself in it? And that changes a lot of things, because you tend to find yourself basing your foods off of those 4 principles. And then the last thing is like, how much do you eat? Because a lot of times you're eating as though you're very active all day, and you're not. You really should be eating based on your physical activity level. If you're not doing a lot that day, I don't really see why you should be eating plates and plates and plates of food like you are. You know, you really want to eat based on your activity level. Otherwise, you'll be overeating. And for what? You know, unless you're purposely packing on weight or packing on pounds and stuff like that, it's just kind of like no point. Like I said, unless you have a reason to do that. All right. And then finally, like I said, I'm going to keep this short and sweet and simple and cute. Finally, stop following people. Stop it. Stop it. You don't need to follow nobody. The reality is, like I said before, nobody is in your body. Nobody knows your background. Nobody knows really where you stay at, what's going around you. Nobody really knows that. Only you know that. Only you know that. And following other people based on their philosophy, again, like I said, the colonizing psychosis of the New Age spiritual movement does this a lot. You find somebody and they start talking about open up your pineal gland. They start talking about opening up your pineal gland and this and that and this and that and low vibrations and high vibrations and melanin and all this random stuff that they really don't understand. They're just parroting what they heard someone else say, regurgitated information. Is throw up. And here you are basing your life off of somebody's words, their belief. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get that self-care regulations chart that I have. Download that. Write in it and observe your body. Observe what your body's telling you. Observe when you're going. You need to know how regular you are going to the bathroom. And you need to know whether you're straining or what. You need to know when you're eating, what time you're going to bed. You need to know what spots and differences are on your skin, on your body, on your scalp, your teeth. You need to know those things. You know, that is what allows you to be able to go to your healthcare practitioner and say, hey, this is what I noticed. This is my regularity. This is my normal. And this is the variation that I've been noticing. I noticed that it happened when this happened and these things happened in my life for XYZ. And that is what allows you to be able to have a better grasp on your body and your health. And also, too, it allows you to go anywhere in the world and thrive because you're not basing what you're doing off of somebody's philosophy just to find out later that they doing inappropriate things and that they have no business doing, just to find out later that they lying and they done stole somebody else's work, just to find out later that they scamming. You know, it's just not, it's not worth it. So like I said, I'm gonna keep this simple, sweet. I'm gonna end it here. That's out. And that's all that we have today. I pray you have a wonderful day. I pray you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like the video. That helps me. Subscribe for more. And hit that Cash App for sure. Jean-Gail Lola. And I'll see you on the next one. Mwah. Dale. See you.